Chapter 1: The Great Cyclone. Dorothy Gale lived with her Aunt Em, Uncle Henry, and her little dog Toto on a small farm in Kansas. The vast prairies stretched out as far as the eye could see, and the days were often filled with the dull grayness of the sky. Dorothy dreamed of a world beyond the horizon, full of color and adventure. One day, as Dorothy was playing with Toto in the yard, the skies grew dark and a great cyclone approached. Terrified, Dorothy ran towards the farmhouse, but the door slammed shut before she could reach it. She frantically looked around for shelter and spotted a small room in the backyard. As the fierce winds roared, Dorothy and Toto huddled together in the tiny space. The cyclone lifted the room off the ground and sent it spinning through the air. Dorothy closed her eyes tightly, praying for the storm to end. When the room finally settled back down, Dorothy cautiously opened the door to find herself in a world unlike any she had ever seen. The air was filled with the scent of flowers, and the ground was blanketed in rich, vibrant colors. The sun shone brightly overhead, casting a warm glow on everything it touched. Dorothy soon discovered that her room had landed on the Wicked Witch of the East, killing her and freeing the Munchkins from her tyranny. The grateful Munchkins hailed Dorothy as a hero and told her of the wonderful Wizard of Oz who lived in the Emerald City. He was the only one who could help her return home. Chapter 2: The Yellow Brick Road. Guided by the Munchkins, Dorothy set off on the yellow brick road to find the Great Wizard of Oz. As she walked along the path, she encountered a scarecrow hanging limply from a pole. The scarecrow came to life and lamented his lack of a brain. Seeing the kindness in the scarecrow's eyes, Dorothy invited him to join her journey to the Emerald City. The scarecrow, eager for the chance to ask the wizard for a brain, happily accepted. Further down the road, they discovered a rusty tin woodman, frozen in place. With the help of a nearby oil can, Dorothy and the scarecrow managed to free the Tin Woodman. He told them of his tragic past and his desire for a heart to replace the one he had lost. Dorothy invited the Tin Woodman to accompany them to the Emerald City, and he gratefully agreed. As the trio continued, they stumbled upon a cowardly lion who confessed his deepest wish was for courage. Dorothy, seeing the potential for bravery in the lion's heart, asked him to join them on their quest. Chapter 3: The Emerald City. After many adventures and challenges, Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, and the lion finally arrived at the magnificent Emerald City. The city shone with a dazzling green radiance, and the citizens welcomed the weary travelers. Dorothy and her friends were granted an audience with the Great Wizard of Oz. The wizard, appearing as a massive, disembodied head, promised to grant their wishes if they could defeat the Wicked Witch of the West, who ruled over the land with an iron fist. Reluctantly, the four companions set out to face the witch, knowing it was their only chance to have their deepest desires fulfilled. Chapter 4: The Wicked Witch of the West. As Dorothy and her friends ventured into the witch's domain, they faced many perils, including winged monkeys and treacherous poppy fields. Yet, they persevered, determined to confront the witch. When they finally reached the witch's castle, she attempted to use her dark magic to destroy them. However, in a desperate moment, Dorothy threw a bucket of water at the witch, inadvertently causing her to melt away. With the Wicked Witch of the West defeated, Dorothy and her friends returned to the Emerald City, triumphant. Chapter 5: The Return Home. Back in the Emerald City, the wizard revealed himself to be an ordinary man named Oscar Diggs, who had used tricks and illusions to maintain his powerful facade. Despite his deception, he honored his promise to Dorothy's friends, providing the Scarecrow with knowledge, the Tin Woodman with a heart, and the Lion with courage. To help Dorothy return to Kansas, the wizard offered to take her in his hot air balloon. As they prepared to depart, Toto darted away, chasing after a cat. Dorothy ran after him, and the balloon lifted off without them. In despair, Dorothy discovered that the silver shoes she had been wearing since her arrival in Oz had the power to transport her anywhere she wished. With a tearful goodbye to her friends, Dorothy clicked her heels together 3 times and repeated, "There's no place like home." In an instant, Dorothy found herself back in Kansas, surrounded by her loving family.